Well, Shannon's sick.
10,
Jeannie's out. I thought
9,
she was here, but she's
8,
gone.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Son of A.
Coming up today on the chat, he went into the Amazon to be
Oh,
eaten
those fake
alive
glasses?
by a snake.
Are those what?
Are those fake glasses?
What the critics and the
Penny.
ladies are saying
probably.
after this national television debut. Plus, the
She said they're
controversy
real
Oprah is
bifocals.
facing
30.
over her new magazine cover. How people can just seem to fall asleep in the darndest of places. And Rachel Vitti, wife of Duval County School Superintendent Dr. Nikolai Vitti, will be here to discuss the future of education
15.
and her interview with the New York Times. The chat starts right now.
10.
Did she say her interview?
Oh, so it has an owner.
Mm-hmm. My cue.
Everyone, and welcome to the chat. I'm Casey DeSantis, Tony, Henny
2.
Lienza, and Stacy join the panel today. And we start with Time
3.
Magazine. They have narrowed down their list of candidates for the annual Person of the Year issue. And this year's possible winners include Apple CEO Tim Cook, Alibaba founder Jack Ma, NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell, Russian President Vladimir Putin, Iraq Kurdish President Masoud Barzani, and singer Taylor Swift, who, by the way, is getting a lot of attention around her consideration for impact as a businesswoman of one of the main reasons she is on that list. So what do you think about the list of potentials for Time of the Year?
I want you to say that list again.
That was good. I got all of them until the Iraqi Kurdish president.
So good.
And I messed the last one up a little bit, but I could have gone without saying
For the most part, you did great. But of all the names out there, I'm going to have to go with my girl Taylor. I recently mentioned to you ladies that I have become a big fan of this young lady. Not only because of her personality, she's beautiful, she's talented, but her business mind is just, her marketing skills is just incredible. She's straight business, and I love that.
She puts herself out on the line. If you were reading that article in Time Magazine, she said that when she was formulating her CD, is that what they call it anymore, CDs?
Yeah. You have to ask that question.
I know. I don't even know. I have a CD player in my car. I mean, I know they have like other things now, but I still use my CD player. Anyway, but they were saying that she put herself out on the line with how she wanted to do it. Right? And so when she was actually
that Twitter thing is about Taylor Swift. I know you gotta have soup for the ladies,
but it went really well in sales.
If we want to skip
Yeah,
that.
you have to understand that people like her, like the Taylor Swifts of the world, Beyonce's, they make the decisions.
They do.
They are in
and they set the trends as well.
As young as she is in control. She had her parents moving to Nashville, knocking on doors. She will tell you the story. She would just knock on doors at the record companies in Nashville. Hi, I'm Taylor. Will you listen to my music? As like a 11-year-old.
Do you think that's Time Person of the Year, though? Should be Taylor?
3. Of all the ones that she listed, I think she's the best. Now, there's others I can think of, but for the list that they've composed, and I respect that, she's going to be my vote.
Yeah, I think what makes her Time Person of the Year is that she's, at this point, in our generation and in the generation, she's timeless. That's the whole point. And as far as being a great business person, even when she might not be at the helm of her business decisions, and I think she is very wise and she's very smart, she's wise enough to surround herself with people who are they're not just yes men and women saying, oh, you're so fabulous.
Yeah, whenever you want to.
You're so great, because I think that has been to the demise of a lot of athletes, a lot of celebrities, where they just are surrounded by people who tell them that they're so great that they can't do anything wrong.
Stay on board. Okay. Well, we want to talk about another story that's making news. Oh boy, did you guys watch Eaten Alive on Discovery Channel last night? For those of you who may not have seen it, it's about an adventurer who goes into the Amazon with the sole purpose of being eaten by a snake. Here's a clip of what happened. Take a look.
40 seconds.
She's on. She's just doing clone. And there she goes. She's rapping. That's going around my shoulder. You see, she's watching me. And I'm wrapped up.
Where's my time?
She's got so much weight on me right now.
It's down here. Oh, that's part of that one story.
I mean, it's just like
15.
There's no way to fight that. I cannot move. My strength is nothing compared to that.
So, like, if you just wanted to see, like,
You need to let us know if it gets too
5.
much.
Stand by. My cue.
No, I mean, it's like one of those things, like, who thinks of these ideas? Like, who wants to get eaten by a snake? Oh, I do. Apparently, the snake only consumed part of his head before Paul Rosalie called in the team to come and get him. He said, okay, that's it, guys, come and get me. There was 10 people standing on the wing. And the last thing he said that he remembered was the snake's mouth opening wide open and everything going black.
Oh my gosh.
After
watch
you
this because
get
they have
Stacy
some
for once.
funny comments. Faye Broom said, "This is just plain gross. Poor snake. I know he said no harm was done to the snake, and he was in a protective
That's the
suit,
Twitter
but
comment right there.
he was not eaten.
Yeah.
That's
Two.
the point.
Four,
The
that is
guy
the Twitter
goes on a
comment.
show
Yeah, I
called
think-
Eaten
I can't read
Alive,
it, but
and
I'm
it ends up
pretty
being
sure.
hugged alive.
Yeah.
Hugged That's what happened. He didn't get eaten. People are so
Two.
mad on Twitter. They were like, I watched this for 2 hours. Here's
Four.
what you do. If you recorded this like I did, and I did not watch it last night.
One.
I watched this morning. Fast forward to an hour and 50 minutes in.
Four.
That's all you need.
Wow.
The last.
Apparently,
One.
there are a lot of people. There's actually
Three.
a really fun tweet that came out from one person. who took a
He
picture
might-
of their
she's
dog
about to go
eating
to
their
it.
finger, and on it
So she
they
just
said,
took
"Hey,
that one."
Discovery Channel, can I have my own
Exactly.
show?"
I read a comment that was very interesting that I found that I can relate to. It
One.
says, anacondas go days without eating and expend the energy needed to do selectively. Making this snake use up energy
Two.
by swallowing this food and then possibly
Did it say fool,
regurgitating
or is that
it-
your words?
No, it says fool.
says fool.
One.
Yes, it says fool. And then possibly regurgitating him would have left the poor animal exhausted and deprived of the energy that he or she
Two.
needs.
But he didn't. The snake
Four.
didn't swallow
It
him.
was. Isn't it
all
a whole bunch of
ended.
biologists
Now,
who
in
understand this shit
defense
anyway?
of
Too.
Rosalie, as he was
One.
getting squeezed by this thing,
One, like a whole
and
bunch of
his
people were
arm
like, "Oh, I want a
his
snake
arm
to
was
swallow
almost,
me
you know,
for."
broken, and so he had to call it. You know, he had to tap out, as he
One.
said, and that's fine. But I mean, how ridiculous! For 2 hours,
Well, here's
eating
Two.
alive was nothing.
But here's his defense to that.
Three.
He said it's just like a high wire act. When you watch those guys, they're going to walk with the
But
the
they
pole.
really walk.
He
Two.
said, but
Right.
but when they start the show, the idea is that
Three.
he's going to attempt to do it. We don't know whether the guy is
Well,
going to be able to traverse from one.
doing it.
Well,
Yeah.
so the idea was,
Two.
am I going to be able to
Yeah,
do
yeah,
it?
yeah.
Even though the title of the show
Three.
was
Eaten alive.
But I can relate to what you said.
Two.
He was not eaten, he was hugged.
He
One.
was hugged
But I
Very
guess
strongly.
for promotional and for ratings, you do what
Two.
you have to
Yeah.
What is
do.
Leandra?
Now,
Is she
and
like
you know
falling
this,
asleep?
The snake
Four.
that they use, you know, they make a big deal, and the whole show, the whole special
She's
about
on
going
something.
to find the perfect snake.
One.
Puppy
They
downers.
used that. They used the snake from captivity.
Right.
Because they were afraid
Two.
that if they used this snake, like you said, like the energy,
Yeah,
that they
yeah.
Four.
wouldn't know if the snake would be okay afterwards. So they didn't even use the snake.
One.
But they, I mean, it's just kind of,
Oh, here we go.
it's a little
But it wasn't
fraudulent.
like a domesticated.
Two.
I mean, it still was. It was real. I mean, the snake was.
Three.
They didn't
Yeah.
know what was
No, we're
going to
not.
happen.
What
What
still.
is happening?
Four.
And he did actually come. Go ahead.
I don't know,
Two.
I was just gonna say, I
One.
sort of think that we all got trapped in a good episode of Penguins of Madagascar.
Two.
It just was like some big faker.
Yeah.
Right, and there's that.
I mean, it was really kind of captivating for
Two.
those people who watched it, but at the end result,
Yeah,
Three.
the last 15 minutes.
That would tell her to wrap.
and then
And it might have been the most action Rosalie and that anaconda had seen in a
One.
long time.
You never
You never know.
There was
Two.
some squeezing going on. That's
well,
all
and
I'm
he
saying.
did say that the goal was not to try to abuse the snake because he
No.
actually had a quote.
She's
when
about
he
to go
was,
for
X3.
working with one news publication. And he said, "I didn't want to stress the anaconda out too much. I wanted to make sure that the suit was
And-
smooth and it wasn't going to hurt the snake." He then
Yeah.
went on to say that what
There's
he
a
wanted
roll
to
cue
do
in there,
was
probably.
absolutely shock people to gain new supporters. What I'm trying to do with this is bring in a bunch of people that wouldn't necessarily know what's going on in the Amazon. Desperate times, desperate measures.
In his defense, I will say, I didn't
Two.
watch the whole thing, obviously, but I
Four.
want to go back and watch it because I did think it was kind of interesting about the Amazon,
Yeah, what
about
about that?
anacondas, and I like that kind of stuff. But if you
necklace.
don't, then don't.
Two. Yeah, her
all of
necklace
the
is
surrounding
during
eating the
Wrap after this.
One.
educational and
Yeah,
informational, but
Whose
all
necklace?
of the hoopla
Tony's,
and-
too.
Yeah.
For 15 minutes.
It
Yeah,
slid on top of the mic.
And we're gonna take the computer.
We want to hear about from you on this because we
Let me
posted a
scroll
poll
that
on our
computer.
website,
Computer.
ladiesofthechat.com. Share
Just
your
scroll it
thoughts,
down
and
a
we're
little
gonna
bit.
Reveal what you think about all of this hoopla coming up a little bit later in the show. And speaking of crazy, from
Civil
one
cam.
gutspo thing to another, watch this incredible video
Roll and
out of
scene.
Portugal that shows a surfer wiping out on a 60-plus foot wave before getting pounded
I don't even
by
see him.
another. And it's kind of hard to make him out, but he's already kind of under right now until he eventually pops up. And what happens is that he then gets
Does
pummeled
this show
by
his, like,
another 60
the video
foot
from
plus
inside
wave.
the
And
wave?
see the jet skiers in the
I
periphery?
never saw it.
They're
I looked
trying
it up on
desperately to
YouTube
find
and everything.
him, to pull him out. You can kind of see his head like to the top and the left of the
She
chat
made it
sign,
seem
and then
like-
this gets to go under.
That's
Finally, he
crazy.
was pulled to safety, but when we watch this kind of video, it makes us think, and it goes back to the
Civil
snake
cam.
too. What are people thinking when they try to seek thrills like this?
Yeah, I mean, nature is a
Two.
very, very powerful force. I think some people forget that, whether
Three.
it be wrestling with an anaconda or surfing and that type of thing. I mean, it can go wrong very quickly.
And doesn't it
Two.
seem like it's
Are we gonna
going
do
in
the
that
crawl
direction
one?
more often than not?
Just the
That
thrill
it's
I know Bonnie's that you wanted to do too.
I don't know if we've figured out how to get them all in one place.
One, she just has to put a whole bunch of them in her approved folder.
I mean, you can get millions of clicks
Two.
that kind of stuff, and as you learn
Three.
the text, now you can get paid for this kind of clicks or advertising revenue, so there's like this financial incentive to do this crazy stuff that didn't necessarily used to be there before.
Three.
Right. Yeah. Well,
I guess like today we only have 2 tweets, so
I'm good.
You would do a 60-foot wave?
Yep.
I would wrap this.
One.
Nope.
Okay.
Show me how, and I'll do it. But I wouldn't.
Two.
run
Now,
from
why
it.
would you? Like, what is your reason?
Four.
The thrill, the excitement.
One.
It looks
Dangerous.
yeah, and exciting. I mean,
Two.
Let's start in Lake Atlantic.
Go grab Tim
Go out
Deegan.
and do
Three.
some nice little two-footers, you know, and then you can move your
I'm
way.
sorry, he's not here. He's gone for the
Two.
ride.
Limit is different for
Wrap up your
everyone,
day.
though. You
Three.
know, how far will you go to get that thrill? Obviously,
Two.
you'll go very far.
I will.
Not so much.
I will.
One.
Let's do it,
I'm
baby.
tamer.
I've gone pretty far.
Well,
We're
she
moving
would've.
on to a story, I believe, about Oprah.
Two.
Yeah, she would or wouldn't do, but just to tell
One.
my story after we get into hers. But different people have different
Two.
thrill-seeking
They
abilities
do.
and wants and
Segue
desires.
into Oprah Winfrey, because speaking of trying to face your fears,
Gosh.
Oprah is apparently facing a lot of criticism
She's
from
on
some
something.
people over her recent magazine cover that
Three.
comes out in January. And basically what she did, she said, in the cover of it, it's a brave new you 2015, and she's challenging people to face their fears for a new you. The thing of it is, though, is that they didn't really, one of her fears is lions, and she was so afraid to pose with that lion during a photo shoot
Is
that
this-
she had to come in one day to get her photo
Yeah, you can
taken.
take the next
And then
full
the
screen.
next day, the lion
Oh, there
came
it
in,
is.
and then they
She's
meshed the
doing her
two
own.
together. And it was so funny because actually during this,
Yep,
one of
that's
her
it.
set designers had to dress up as a lion
She
so that they
wasn't
could get the
staying on
angles just
script.
right without her having. But some were saying, hey, that's hypocritical because if you're talking about facing your fears, shouldn't you then be with the thing that you are fearful of to then face them?
Two.
Knowing, first of all, that she went through that makes the shot in and of itself just kind of comical. But when you
Three.
look at that shot, doesn't it look like one of those weird 70s velour pictures?
Oh
that
my
would be
gosh,
on
Two.
yes, yes.
Black light. like a-
Oprah and the lion.
I love her
Yes.
hand on the lion's leg.
Yes, I love
Hello,
it.
beast.
You know what? When you're Oprah, I don't know if it is
With the black
hypocritical,
light.
but when you're Oprah and you have her kind of money, you can be whatever you want to be, honey.
I don't know.
Yeah,
If you tell people to face their fears
Four.
and then you're posing in a lion costume,
Oprah.
she needs to meet the Eating Alive guy. She's
Yeah.
meeting
One.
Eating Alive and she did posed by a
I
lion.
love this picture.
Hello.
I want to put my face on her
Two.
Photoshop body.
I want to put my face on the lion's body, and then it's a that's
Just
a
wrap
whole
them,
weird
they're being
thing.
ridiculous.
One.
I did a show a long time ago. I'm just kidding. I did a show for
Two.
CBS called Ordinary Extraordinary, and the whole crux of the show it was a summer replacement
Something's
series,
happening, I don't know what's
six
happening.
shows, where my job was to host,
Three.
but also to go out in the field and do some huge daredevil, major
Two.
stunts. And one of them was
One.
shark diving in a chainmail suit, where I went down on a free dive, not in a
Sometimes
cage
when
or
I
anything
wrap
like
her
that.
in the middle of her talking,
And
it makes it
I
worse.
hand fed
Two.
Wow.
sharks. And that
Did
so
you
I
just sign anything
Wrap.
before you did
I
that?
say
Three.
many things, and I trained for many days to wear the chainmail and go down. I did
One.
a rock climbing expedition. I did cigarette boat racing. I did
Oh,
a
goodness,
lot.
we get
and,
it.
You know, two
Two.
out of the 6 episodes that I did, 2 of the gentlemen that were my trainers are
Three.
now passed away because of the choices that they make
One.
as daredevils and risk takers. But I can say
Two.
that in my 20s,
Oh my God.
I
See, she's
still
like
going.
had these
screwing us right now
experiences
because we need to be in
and,
commercial
I'm
break.
glad that I
Tell
did
it.
them. I
wrapped
love
her
them, and they're on camera.
already
Like I
twice.
So take that, Oprah. Leanza did it. You
Four.
posed next to a guy in a costume.
What?
There
Two.
you go.
There's
And that's all
that.
she wrote about. All right, well,
Three.
sometime right here on the
And she
show.
still has
Speaking
some
Roll
of
name.
going to extreme lengths to make an impression, see the travels. One man made all for the perfect proposal. Wait till you hear how he did that. And
What,
how
baby?
much is too much when it comes to children and technology? For some educators,
Back to two.
advocate Rachel Beatty joins the panel to weigh in, plus to tell us about her new initiative in Jacksonville. Be right back.
2's up. C. Take it.
You do? Okay.
10, 9,
So you
8,
can pull that down whenever you
7,
want to, Jamie.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. IQ.
Welcome back to the chat. Well, there aren't many marriage proposals that can be seen from space, but for this traveler, an epic journey through Japan was also a unique marriage proposal. So a Japanese artist left his job to travel through Japan, covering more than
Step on it.
4,300 mostly on foot using GPS technology to track his every step. At the end of the journey, his GPS records of all of his travels around the country. It spelled out a phrase, marry me. Each location was carefully planned so that the GPS tracking would spell out this romantic phrase that he obviously wanted to give to his significant other. So we talked about marriage proposals a lot on this show, and it seems like this one takes the cake, and it blows the others out of the competition. I mean, how do you do that?
Done. Drop the microphone and walk out. Done. And that's the thing. Like, there is no topping this unless you go to space and rearrange the stars. But
there's a Twitter response.
All the rest of the guys out there, y'all can relax. Relax. Just get down on one knee and propose very simply, because you will never top this guy's proposal. The pressure is completely off for the rest of all of the male species. No pressure. You can't top it. Just get down on one knee and just go, I can't top that, honey. But will you marry me? Okay, that's it.
But he sets his own bar. The marriage that he's getting ready to enter into, it has to stay at this level or go higher. He added some pressure on himself.
I mean, I don't really think, honestly, I think most ladies are happy with the simple.
There you
they
go.
Are traditional.
Here's my question about this whole thing. So he did all this, the GPS tracks it, it says marry me.
To do it.
6 months. So how did he present this to his fiance? That's what that's the disconnect on the whole thing. So it did this, and is he like, hey, look at my phone?
So the presentation you're saying might not have been up to par with everything else.
So then she's like, oh, that's cute. Did you draw it with your finger?
I
was like, no. I mean, I don't know if even it translates. After all that you did, does it even really translate?
And here's the thing, he's gone for 6 months. Are
Or
they
you could
communicating via phone? Is this like a distance relationship while he's
if
like,
it goes too far, you could kill that Guinness World Record.
She's like, you've been gone for 6 months.
Well, she did say yes. We know she said
but very, very quickly, I just want to say, like, in the long run, what is the reasoning? Was he trying to be romantic, or was this all about his show?
I think he's trying to get like a show.
I was married to that guy. God love him. He put forth a lot of effort into our proposal, our 10-year anniversary. He did a lot of it.
Twitter thing's updated.
Everybody.
There's a new one.
So you think it was
It wasn't just for me.
2.
And I appreciated it. It was great.
Okay, so on the lighter
we'll get you on the couch later. We'll talk.
We'll get Dr. Marks in.
Get you some wine.
Well, but
who's on the couch with me?
On the heels of all of this, because there was another proposal that actually took off on social media, and it was this couple out of Oregon, and they were posing on the top of a mount, if you will, and you can see them off in the distance. And then the thing about this story was nobody knew who this couple was.
She's not in that new.
Media, and all of a sudden, through the miracle of social
I would
media,
I think I would just kill this story.
And the couple finally identified themselves.
To just tell Casey,
simpler approach versus
Guinness record dead. Break after this.
Guinness record is dead. We're gonna get a break after this.
But they even get there.
But they weren't the ones posting it, and they weren't the ones making the show about it. That was kind of to my point. But
what I find fascinating about that story too is that they had a crowdfunding website for their honeymoon.
Really?
Oh, see, now they just take it from sweet to give us money for our honeymoon.
I'm gonna get a crowdfunding.
No, this was a long time. Anyway, all right, still to come. Raising your credit score in the new year. We're gonna talk to our financial contributor Adam Wolf, who's gonna join us with tips to get you back on track. Plus, Mariah Carey is responding to all the hate that she got over her performance at the Rockefeller Christmas tree lighting. We played the audio here. We're gonna talk about who she says is really to blame. We'll be right back.
Choose it. Take it. Was she like literally scratching her legs when I took that shot? 15. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I need to move this monitor.
And Mikey Casey.
Oh, welcome back to the chat. Would you rather disclose?
All right, keep on going. Keep on. Keep on. Keep on.
There was a
Keep on
survey by the National
right there.
Foundation of Credit Counseling. It reveals that people are more embarrassed to admit their credit scores than their weight. Unbelievable. We're joined now by our financial contributor, Adam Wolf. And Adam, thank you so much for being here to dive into this wonderful topic. So first of all, let's talk about a credit score, what it is exactly. Let's put it in layman terms. But how is it calculated, and why is it so gosh darn important?
Okay, that's a great
Hold
question.
it forward, 2.
3 and 1, right?
Here, 30 seconds.
30 seconds,
No,
we'll do it.
That's a great question.
The credit score, it's called a FICO score, and the FICO score stands for Fair Isaacson Company. It's a software company that basically provides software to all of the different bureaus, the financial bureaus, and they calculate a score based on history of payments. And they also look at a couple of other different things, like how much you're paying, what your debt levels are, and they basically have this sort of crystal ball to calculate it based on your history. And that is a score that, if it's a high score, you're going to be paying a lot less in credit costs, and if it's a low score, you're going to be paying a whole lot more in interest than somebody with that higher score. So paying attention to your credit score is extremely important.
Right, so then you got the credit
So they want to hold up this sign for Faye at the end of the show.
People always, I've heard you say,
So
a copy of your
I'm
credit
going to
report,
add.
and I always see on the web all over the place,
yes.
But where can you get
and we need to put
legitimately?
in
Because I'm
poll
always
reveal. That's
thinking
what I have to do
those
that.
websites are kind of shady.
Well, it's not that they're necessarily shady. It's just you make sure that you go to the ones that are reputable. Annualcreditreport.com is one that's sort of affiliated with the government a little bit. Government a couple of years back came out, federal government came out and said everybody who in this country can get their free credit report, not credit score. You have to actually pay for your credit score to be able to find that out. But myfico.com is another good place to go. But make sure that when you sign up for these things that you're not putting in all of your credit information to pay for it, because sometimes they put you on a monthly recurring payment thing that you might not know about. A lot of them have gotten into trouble with that because you think you're signing up for one thing, you've actually, it turned out you're now on the hook for a monthly basis.
And you don't have to pay for it. That's the bottom line. You do not have to pay for a credit report.
And you know what I did not know until doing research on this? You get one per year from each of the 3 major credit bureaus.
Correct.
Equifax, TransUnion,
and Experian, yes.
Yeah, I always thought all these years I've always done it as just one. So now I can, this thing here suggested you do it every 4 months.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I mean, if you get one from each of the different bureaus, because they all sort of pull together the same information, but at different times, and it's a mystery still in what each of them receives on a monthly basis from your creditors. But yeah, getting it every 4 months is actually a pretty good deal.
Yeah,
for free.
So for a person that may have jacked up credit, for whatever the reason may be, whatever may have happened in the past or whatever it may be, is there ever a recovery?
So we'll just take
from
them down.
bad credit?
But most of the time, for improving your score and improving your credit, it just takes time. And what they really want to see, because what makes up a large portion of your credit score, is the history of making payments on time.
So we'll just let her interview
that's
for 4.
Really what sort of drives the credit score almost, and then making sure that
and we can kill one of those kickers
if
we
you do get into a situation where you've had problems with your credit score in the past, giving them a call, giving your creditors a call and trying to make sure that any kind of issues that are on your credit report that aren't factual or actually fixed and disputed, making sure that you actually can get that.
So you're calling the creditor. So for instance, if it's like a store that you went to, and you would call the store, you don't call like Equifax.
Well, you start with the store first and making sure that they don't report that information to the creditors. And then if it's gotten to the credit reports and the bureaus and the agencies, if it's gotten to that point, then you want to go to the bureaus and to the agencies to try to fix it. So hopefully not getting to that point in the first place, but if you do get to that point, going directly to Experian, TransUnion, and also Experian and Equifax. Yes, those are the ones.
What about credit cards that I may have opened and I just don't use them anymore? I open them on here you get 10% off of this deal or that deal, and I don't use them. Should I keep them open, or should I go ahead and close them?
Yeah, that's going to be score. It depends what you want to do. Now, if you have like 100 cards and you don't want to have to manage all the cards, you want to start to chop some of them up or throw some of them away. Make sure you do it in a very safe fashion. But if you want to continue to try to increase your credit score, keeping them open and doing small charges from time to time, or setting up like a bill recurring on it. Say you got a Visa that you hardly ever use, setting up maybe the JEA bill on there to pay it on a monthly basis. That would actually increase your score based on how they calculate this thing.
Now, what if you see something, or what if you have an old amount, maybe a doctor bill from many years ago or something, and there it is on your credit report. You never paid this.
Got it.
And you want to, fix your credit score, as you're talking about. But you don't have the money to pay this, and it was from many years ago. I mean, is there a way that you could still pay it, but it wouldn't be the whole amount? Can you negotiate?
Sure, trying to negotiate with your
4.
creditors.
30
if you get to a
seconds.
point where you're having a little bit of difficulty, getting it
Has
in front of
Leanne
it
asked anything?
fast
Yeah.
and quick is
Okay.
probably
Yeah, she
the
did.
easiest
The
thing
credit
to do.
card
but
thingy.
These creditors definitely want
What
to get
should I
paid
do with
something
credit
at this
cards I don't
point.
use? 1.
So
Yeah.
going and calling and negotiating with them
Or
is
now 1.
probably going to be a good step.
Come
But
to your
each of
friend.
the creditors, each of the
Wrap
companies that
after
you're working
this.
with are a little
4.
different. So going ahead and trying to be as personable as possible on the phone with them is going to be very, very helpful.
Or go to crowdfunding.
There you go.
We're almost there.
Crowdfunding, that's right.
Thank you, Adam. We appreciate you, as always. And
3.
This financial contribution was furnished by Wolf Retirement. For more financial advice from Adam, you can visit the company's website, which is, Tony, write this down because you were asking earlier.
Yes, I was.
wolfretirement.com.
Oh, okay.
There
We
you go.
say it every week. Can I?
She was just saying before the show. She's like, I got to know the right down the website. There you go. All right, well, still to come right here on the Chad. Mondays can be hard, but we'll show you why you're doing better than these people. See some of the funniest ways that people fall asleep in public. We're going to roll through the videos. But first, educational advocate and wife of Duval County Public School Superintendent Nicole Vitti, Rachel Vitti, is going to join us after the break, and we will be right back.
7's up. Okay. And take a break.
Said it's
10,
wrong.
9.
And I
We'll
thought
do
she was
sweep
mad
on
at
3.
me.
5.
Yes.
4.
I said something else.
3. 2. 1.
But then she started acting like that to everyone, so.
Welcome back
Thank
to
you.
the Chad. It is impossible not to admire our next guest. She is a passionate advocate for education and for social justice. A former public school teacher, she has spent the past decade educating her own 4 children and all the while advocating for students with disabilities in the public school system. Married to Duval County Public School Superintendent Nicole Vitti. She
intro.
is half of one of the most influential couples here on the
She's
First
got
Coast.
a
So please
long
welcome to the
resume
show, Rachel. Thank you so much for being
4.
here.
Of course.
So
Thanks
let's
for
start
having
out
me.
with what exciting. The New York Times recently
2.
interviewed you, and they wanted to know a couple of things. Understand.org
Say that about your
and
dissolve.
Grasp Academy here in
Yeah.
Sacramento.
I hit cut and dissolve at the same time. And
New York City, where I'm a member of the
4.
Parent Advisory Council for
I didn't mean to.
Understood.org, and it is
We can take
a
the.
comprehensive website.
She's talking about our
to help
family.
parents
a little.
navigate the educational
Actually,
system when their
let's
child
take
doesn't
A,
necessarily
C.
fit into
Sorry,
the box
C.
of learning. It's a conglomerate of 15 national nonprofits, and it's like a GPS system for parents figuring out what to do when there's something going on, when your smart, achieving child just isn't hitting those marks in school.
Okay, and then we also wanted to get your take while you're here on some of the top
Man, that
stories
just
that we've been
looks-
seeing in the headlines as they involve children and education. And there was another New York Times article that came out that the producers pulled aside, and it was talking about the American
we can
Academy
take A,
for
if you want.
Pediatrics, advising doctors and reminding parents that they should be reading to their child from birth on and really getting them involved
What was
and
that?
learning from
I don't
books.
know.
I think it
And
was
then
a
that
call.
led into another article about
somebody sent me a
e-readers
call.
and the popularity thereof, and doctors being concerned that children under the age of 2 not using these for fear of, fear they could harm their eyesight. Convoluted explanation later. Do you think that reading to your children
3 is up.
a good
Is there a
thing,
question
obviously
there
throughout the
someplace?
years, and then your thoughts on these e-readers?
There was a
and
question,
kids
and obviously she didn't
having
read it.
whatnot?
Well, literacy development is absolutely
3.
imperative for human growth and development.
4.
With each child is different. As a mother of 4, each child learns differently, and so what works for one may not work for another. I encourage parents using anything that works. At this point, 2 of my 4
All
are
that extra
dyslexic, and so getting them to find
3.
literature to
Could
read,
take B.
series of
She
books,
say her
wasn't
kids?
always easy.
Yeah, we
so
can
we
take
did
B.
go to e-readers as soon as we possibly could. So 2 of my kids necessarily need it for literacy. The others, it's more of a game type system.
Okay, corralling household of 4, girls, boys.
3 boys, 1 girl.
3
All right, that's
3
a lot.
minutes.
That's
It
a lot
is. It's
going
fun.
on all the time. And so there are lots of parenting issues that are always coming up kind of in popular culture. And one trend we're seeing is parents punishing, pretty stiff punishment, and
3.
then deciding to go and
She
post
is
the
talking
punishment,
about
pictures of
B.
the child or what have you in social media. Often these situations go viral. We have some examples. One, this child was forced to hold this sign, "I sneak out with boys at 3 a.m." Different T-shirts kids are forced
She
to
does not
wear.
have to
There's
do
this father was upset because this child had social media accounts and kind of
Can
was
you
doing
pause
a little
that?
dating without her daddy knowing.
She was what, 10?
So yeah, she was 10 in 5th grade,
I
so
don't
she
want her to
wore
keep
this
going over
T-shirt. He had
these.
her dress up kind of like a little girl with the bows and that type of thing. Thoughts about this
Okay.
particular
3.
thing. The punishment in and of itself, and then the decision to post and kind of make this a much wider public shaming, if you will. What do you think?
4.
Well, children make mistakes, right?
They do.
2
And
minutes.
us as parents, we're
2
adults,
minutes.
and we need to help them make better decisions.
And we should be through all the videos.
I don't necessarily agree with the posting on social media, the decision that the parent made. I think it does more to hurt the child
3.
than actually teaches them a lesson and how to actually make smarter decisions and smart choices.
4.
I wouldn't necessarily have posted it, but
How do you decide what the appropriate punishment is in your
3.
household?
I don't know if it's a case by case
Case-by-case?
decision,
4.
right? And each child is different. So some discipline issue or some discipline style might work for one child, but it may not work for another. So take it as it comes.
Yeah.
Well, and I think a lot of it as
1.
a parent, you know, I have 2 young men that I'm raising who are almost 13 and one
is
just
she
turned
about to
11.
fall
And
asleep?
using
2.
social media is
I'm
kind
about
of
to
new
fall
to
asleep.
them. But
1.
when I get humiliated by them on social media, I get made fun of for
1
not
minute.
doing something appropriately or taking them to the wrong kind
2.
of movie or not letting them do something. Then my first
1.
reaction, just as a human being, whether
This
it's
is
an
one of
adult
those
or
days.
whatever, as a human being, is to lash back out and go, oh yeah, well.
2.
I mean, because we do live in a social media world, do we use it as some sort of tactic?
1.
I
This
realize
lady looks like she hates
Answer the
being
question.
here.
Ask
Some
it.
people
4.
do, yes. I've used it personally just as a learning tool, learning opportunity,
30.
advocacy, awareness.
Tony saw the question.
My kids are still too young
2.
to have their own independent account, so we haven't reached that stage yet. But I've learned early on, having 4, I am
4.
hesitant to judge other mothers and other parents because you never know what
3.
situation you may be in, and it may happen to you.
If she
it
asked
may
me like
not.
right now.
When it comes to
each their
social
own.
media, do you limit your
2.
kids? Because that's one big distraction when it comes to homework and studying. One
There you
that
go.
we didn't have growing up.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, you know, is that one thing that you do
They do.
to
They-
help them to buckle down and
1.
get that work done? Because it can be tough for students these days.
They do, but being a
4.
parent of children with
Wrap
learning
after
differences, we
this.
do take somewhat of a break once the kids get home from school. I
See,
encourage
Tony's good
getting
about
outside to exercise
finding
to
a
get
way
their
to
brain
ask the
revved
question
back up
without
again,
starting
before they
the
dive
whole
into
thing
the
over
Two.
again.
It's so important
So
just to get
important.
out and get the oxygen flowing,
3.
fresh air. Thanks so much, Rachel. We appreciate
2.
you for being here.
That's
And
great insight.
By the way, people can follow you
3.
on Twitter, and your Twitter handle is @RachelVD. Is that correct?
that is correct.
All right,
2.
we'll be right back right after this short break.
3. Okay, and just take it. Just take it.
Okay.
Jesus. Casey,
Damn, that was quick.
I had a whole tease and everything. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. God, am I just... My cue.
Welcome back to the chat. All right, let's get our celebrity gossip now from Tony
2.
Fox. Fox Files, what's going on?
All right, last Friday,
Oh,
big
we
day
didn't
in
get
music,
Tony.
the
I gotta get
Grammy
Tony, I
nominations were announced.
Hold on, I got it.
And the big nominees, Beyonce, Pharrell, and Sam
1.
Smith, 6
We have to move camera forward.
Grammy
2.
nominations. Yes, so
Could
they
take
did really
B.
well with that. In fact, Beyonce is like the most nominated woman ever. But this is up for Record of the Year. Fancy by Izzy, we just saw her. Chandelier Sia, this is Sam Smith, Stay With Me, and Taylor Swift, Shake It Off. And then All About That Bass, Meghan Trainor, nominated for Record of the Year. Let's see, we got those were nominated for.
Okay,
Yeah,
just
that was
a
Record of the Year. Now we
Yeah.
got Album of the Year.
Well, what's the difference? I don't understand. What's
Well, Record of the Year is a single,
2.
and then we go Album of
Why
the
didn't
Year
they
is
say
the
that? Why
whole.
did they say single?
4.
Shows my ignorance.
Well, they do have Record of
2.
the Year and Song of the Year.
Album
Song of
of-
the Year for songwriting.
4.
Oh,
So-
We don't have video for
1.
Album of the Year, so.
thank you.
No, they don't have that
2.
anymore.
You can listen to it on stereo.
They probably have download of the year sometime. But anyway, so
I
those
told
are
Casey
some
when to
great
move her
nominations. Yay,
around.
great.
Okay,
Okay,
all right.
let's move on to some juicy stories.
Okay,
You
you can
like the juicy stuff, right?
Gipsy.
Halle Berry. Okay.
Wait, Mariah Carey first.
Oh, you want Mariah Carey?
Yes,
I love the
Gotta
Mariah
start.
Carey
Oh,
story.
she's
I
so
love the Mariah Carey
amazing.
story. Okay, so
2.
yeah, you guys, heard
Yeah,
that, right?
train wreck.
Her horrible singing
Yeah.
at the tree lighting ceremony,
4.
Rockefeller Center. This was last week. Now this was supposed to be recorded, right? But she shows up
1.
3 hours late, and they
What
couldn't
is
do it.
Henny
So they
doing?
ended up
Mocking
doing it
Mariah
live to this
Carey.
day because she was awful.
4.
Well, she is now saying, sources close to Mariah, they're saying that
1.
this was all done, this leaking of that audio that you guys heard last week,
2.
was all done as revenge. Because
4.
the tech people had to sit for 3 hours waiting
1.
for Mariah Carey in the cold. And so they got.
Yeah, that sounds like a tech guy.
Four.
Said, you know what, you're gonna
I
make
don't
it
think
3
they
hours.
would
We're
sacrifice
gonna
the
leak
Rockefeller.
some audio of you sounding awful.
To,
Union guys? Oh yeah.
I mean, in practice, not.
It's not.
One, because if they lost their job,
they said it's very hard to just leak an isolated recording.
Honey, just own one bad performance and move on. You don't have to.
That's what she needs to do. But you know what? I'd say she deserved it. She made him sit for 3 hours.
Yeah, as a singer, as a performer, as an actor, an actress, whatever it is that you do on stage for the public, and that is your job, and that's what you've been asked to do, to come to do, to play a big arena like that. If you drop the ball, you drop the ball and you own it.
Things get leaked.
And it may suck to have to own that. I mean, it may be the worst thing in the world to have to say, you know what, I was not in good voice that day, and I feel really bad, and I apologize to the people whose
I'm sure she
I did whose rehearsal I didn't.
I couldn't even really tell.
You couldn't tell.
with the audio recording, the channel 1, because there's like 2 channels for audio. When her by herself, yes.
You just say channel 1, but this isn't editing.
There's
a lot more audio channels.
I think it's funny though that she faced after 3 hours waiting for her.
But Casey also said she couldn't tell. And as soon as we played it, we all could hear.
Fight that she actually had to go to court, and a judge had to decree that neither Hallie nor her ex will lighten or change their daughter's hair, because her contention is that her ex, is trying to make their daughter look white. She had actually taken her daughter's hairbrush to a forensics lab to be examined, and they told her, yes, according to the substances we found, her hair was chemically altered, and it was done quite a bit, and there is some extensive damage. How sad is your relationship that you can't
what
talk
it was
about it?
from my reading, it's kind of like the relaxer, which actually straightens
whatever it was,
your hair permanently.
Straightener, and lightener.
Yeah.
Wrap after this.
She's a little timid.
But isn't it sad? Isn't it sad that she can't just call her ex and say, "Look, what are you doing to her hair? Can you just not do that?" She's got to go to court. She's got to go to a forensics lab. That's sad.
2.
Yeah.
Give me Casey.
Thank you.
But it makes for good fox
It makes for a great fox melody. I love it.
I love it.
All right, when we come back, we are checking out a really cool new form of exercise. Well, not really new, but it's kind of making a resurgence.
Just read the freaking prompter.
I'm not, but you guys are, okay? You wouldn't catch me dead dancing.
I'm gonna take it. What? Gar.
15 seconds.
A little
kill this.
instantaneous
Actually,
last
no,
time.
she's gonna take
8,
that super upset.
7, 6.
I would let her
5
do the
coming in on
30-second
camera, 2,
intro and then
3,
start it so that
2,
it's
1. And Mikey Stacy.
Welcome back to the chat, everyone. We are putting a little pep in your Monday step now with a cool dance practice that is also really awesome exercise. Joining us now to talk about East Coast Swing, managers of the Dance Shack, Eddie Lasky and Elaine Zamuto. Welcome. Thank you. We are so glad you guys are joining us today. We've got some dancers, so maybe after the show you can show us all how to do it. So, first question, tell us a little bit about what is East Coast Swing.
East Coast Swing is a partner dance that is dance to quick music. You can go to country music, and go to big band music, rock and roll, and it's kind of a motive is just pure fun. It's really a fun, exciting dance, great for exercise.
And it's been around for a while?
Yes, it's been around for a long time. It's kind of a catch-all term, but since the 20s, there's been a lot of different forms of swing dancing, and so East Coast Swing is a term that kind of encompasses a lot of those different types of dance moves.
How'd you guys get involved in doing it?
We actually met almost 15 years ago, training to be teachers.
Okay.
And we wanted to change things a little bit and change the format a little bit, so we started our own
dance studio.
Together.
Yeah.
Very cool. And so this particular dance style, is it something that is good for people who are just starting off? Is it something anybody can pick up?
It's good because it's very popular. Now, East Coast Swing is an advanced dance, but I'd say pretty much anyone could pick it up.
She's probably
I haven't met anybody who just could not learn dance yet. So.
Well, that's encouraging for anybody out there who thinks they have 2 left feet, indeed. What is it about this particular style of dance that you really enjoy?
What is it that I don't enjoy? I love the bouncy feel to it. I love that it goes to so many different types of music. It's just fun.
It is. And as you guys said, I mean, it's advanced, but you kind of start off slow and get people Show us a little bit. I'll stand kind of off to the side. A little bit about the basic steps kind of when you start the dance.
The basic step is comprised of two elements. Something called a rock step, which is 2 steps. It looks like this. 1, 2. And a triple step, which is 3 quick steps. It looks like this. 1, 2, 3. And then we add one more of those. 1, 2,
4.
3. To fill out the basics of the whole thing now looks like this. We have a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And that's
4.
actually your basic step of the dance. And in fact, your whole beginning level is just basically this with different turns. So for instance, if I did my basic rotating, now I have an underarm turn. If I did a basic rotating the other way, I have a waist.
90.
So a lot of these moves comprise just those basics.
You guys are just smooth, just dancing and talking and gliding around. So that's how you get people started.
Yeah.
Very simple, and from there you kind of add on to the situation.
That's absolutely right. Yeah. So we start off very, very easily. You know, you've got to make it so that it's simple to understand, and so that people, I feel like when they're learning how to dance, if they are able to catch on to these basics and see how easy it really is, then they start to relax, and then they can really have a lot of fun.
Okay, tell us about classes. We know you guys teach people.
The slower third.
We have
yeah, you can go ahead and take
courses
it. We can pop it
private
back up while
lessons,
they're dancing.
and if somebody wanted to get started, I would say to come to a newbie class every Friday at 6 p.m.
They're free.
Free newbie class. Yeah, that gives
Oh
you a
yeah,
sample of
I
all the
actually do
different
have another
dances
rap. I
that
mean
we
another
teach.
super.
Yeah, there's a rap one.
Okay.
A free.
Yeah,
Yeah, free newbie.
So
We'll take
classes,
that.
Fridays, you guys can start picking this up. All right, we're going to step out of the way. We're going to cue the music and let you guys show us how it's really done, okay?
And here's
Alrighty.
B.
You can just time it out there. She gonna show too much?
That is so short.
Yes, yes it
For
is.
2. One.
Oh.
And you just want me to pop up this lower third? 4,
yeah,
give me some feet.
30 seconds.
2. It feels bad because it's covering them up. 4.
20.
2.
15.
1.
10.
4.
9. 8. 7. 6. 5. 4.
You got 7.
3. 2. 1.
7's up. And take it. I don't. Just 7, 6, 5. Hang up the phone. 4, 3, 2. My cue, Casey. Thanks.
So back to the chat. Okay, so
Y'all are giving time cues, right?
You have no idea where you're going to camp out
Well,
for a night.
that didn't work.
Apparently, a lot of people have found some really creative places
2.
to fall asleep, and so they all have been accumulated
I'm just
on
taking this.
DailyMailUK.com, and so these are some of the highlights. And
I think she was saying the prompter wasn't in the right place.
Like this sometimes.
Can you go to G5, Dave?
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
I sympathize with the airport.
Actually, I can, yeah. Some of
that
these.
looks dangerous.
You know, am I the only one, though, that would feel very uncomfortable falling asleep in public?
You know what, when you
3 minutes to out, 3 minutes to out.
When you're that tired, though, I mean, I've been that tired.
I just forgot to tell her how long it was, and I didn't want her to go too fast
Curled up
through
like
these.
a ball in an airport seat, like, you know.
It's the airport. I
Yeah.
can sympathize with.
Like,
I've had a struggle with the airport where I had to spend the night there. It was the worst thing. Missed my sister's wedding and everyone had to sleep in the airport in Charlotte, North Carolina.
because of weather, or what was?
Oh yeah, let's not go there.
Okay.
Can you just say bump?
Okay.
Yeah. So.
All right. Well, this might make you feel a little bit better if you're still holding any
Because
animosity
that's a
over
fake
sleeping in
story.
the airport for 24 hours. Okay. No. It's a cute little dog video. I mean, how would you not
love
love
dog
this?
video.
Love the dog video. And this dog, see, you know what he's doing?
No.
He wants belly rub.
Oh, you like belly rubs.
He loves belly rubs. And so they come over and they do that. And then all of a sudden, when they stop rubbing him, what does he do? He does the same thing.
Does it again? My dog does that.
Oh my gosh,
Really?
Tony is loving this.
Doesn't every dog do this?
I would envision you with this kind of dog.
Please.
Yeah.
I have a
Please,
your
Sarah,
turn.
more.
If only everything in life was that simple. Just do this and you get somebody to do it.
I want to break on my rent.
Yeah.
Please.
Try with the chat stats.
I'm putting in my notice, by the way. This is my last week.
Can we put the computer in the monitor behind Casey whenever?
Okay, so we asked you at the top of the show to weigh in on our live interactive poll. A Discovery Channel star recently fed himself to the anaconda, or so
still
we
go
thought,
for 2 minutes?
only that his head went down there. So we asked you, his actions
Don't
have
know,
spurred
but
a lot of
ask the
outcry
ladies.
among animal welfare activists.
2
What do you
minutes.
think?
2
And
minutes.
I think the majority of the people, 55%, said if both he and the snake survived to care. 27% poor snake, so traumatizing. 18% said not a fan of his shock tactics, and nobody thought it was educational.
Wow.
Not one
Imagine
person.
that.
And that was his goal, supposedly, was to educate. And everybody in our poll said it was non-educational. So much for that dude.
Again.
Maybe he should be eaten. Maybe
The
that would have been
anaconda
educational.
don't want none unless you got one.
That's what was missing.
I've been waiting for
Nicki
that.
Minaj
I knew it was coming.
Okay, before we go too, we got to say a quick hello to Dee
Yes, yes.
2.
Didi, feel better.
Yeah, we heard
Please
you
feel
weren't
better.
feeling
You're in our
so
prayers.
Where's
Yeah,
their
so we
sign?
wanted to say a quick shout out, and we put something on Facebook for you. So
Yes, check out Facebook.
Dee Collins. All right, well, thank you, everybody.
1 minute. 1 minute.
7.
We have another minute.
Yeah.
You guys want? Do you want to do the anaconda, a reenactment of the anaconda video, or eaten alive? I'm just kidding. You really have to let that go. I want to see the guy eaten. You feel like there was false advertising.
She was disappointed.
It was
yeah.
false advertising, and he probably planned it like that the whole time.
You have been anticipating this for weeks.
I have.
Yeah.
You know, it should have been attempts to be eaten
3.
alive. If they had had that in the headline, you
Well,
would
then not as many
And
people
done it with
tuned
like,
in.
I know, and done it with like, yes,
2.
children, and then
1.
women, and then men, and then older
3.
people.
Don't give them any
Can we
ideas.
nominate
1.
people?
30.
Okay, look, you
Really?
Listen, mix it up a little bit, Discovery.
Yes, Stacey.
You know our ladies
2.
are always weighing in.
Oh.
We
Yes.
have guys who watch too.
Yes, we do.
William
Nobles.
He
Yeah.
weighed in on this, and he said about this
2.
whole anaconda stuff.
Yeah.
He is a failed example
15.
of natural
3.
selection. Fools not bright enough to go on living. Only the
10,
anaconda
2.
had better
9,
taste than him.
8, 7,
There you go. Thank you,
6,
William. Thanks for
5,
watching, guys. See you
4,
tomorrow.
3,
Bye.
2, 1.
Ellen.
It's day 3 of Ellen's 12 Days of Giveaways with comedian Amy Poehler and a holiday quiz.
Hey. Death Star, can y'all turn off y'all's mics before y'all start moving it around? Blowing out our eardrums.